Happy Memorial Day, everybody. This is Gail. Excuse me, I haven't had to talk to anybody in a while. My voice is showing it. I really wanted to get into my studio today. I'm going to be going away tomorrow for a couple of days and just wanted to get in here and do something. I couldn't think of anything that I really wanted to do, so when I get into a mood like that, I make tiles. I love to do polymer clay mosaics. I think you saw the box that I made for my daughter-in-law, the Proverbs 31 box. If not, I did do a video showing the box. I didn't show how to make the tiles though. So I've got some Kato clay rolled out, that I've conditioned. This is some old clay that I've had for a long time, and that's another video I did on conditioning old clay. And my pasta machine makes little ridges when I roll clay, so I like to roll over it with my roller to make it nice and smooth. You're going to see fingerprints on it, but it doesn't really matter because it's all going to get covered up. I think today I've got a few background stamps that I think I will use. This is, I believe, Lisa Pavelka's Love Letter. And I thought I would do that. What I would normally do is spritz this with a little water. That's alcohol. That won't work. Spritz it with a little water. Not much, just enough to keep it from sticking. Put it down on my clay. And you can do it several ways. You can push it with your fingers. You can roll it with your roller. I prefer on this firmer clay to push it with my fingers. If this was Primo or Sculpey 3, I would probably use my roller. But since this is Kato and it's a firm clay, I want to make sure that I get the marks in here. Rather than rolling with my roller this way, sometimes I'll take the butt end of my rod, my rolling rod, my acrylic rod, and just roll over. And that helps to get a good smooth texture without moving the stamp. Alright, let's see what we've got. And if you lift it up a little at a time, oh, that looks good. I don't need to do anything else. But remember, I sprayed it with water. So you want to take the water off of your stamp. And also off of your clay. Just blot it because you don't want the water to mix in your clay. Now I think I'll move this clay aside to get out of my way. And another tip that I might share with you is I have one of these pasta, I guess they're pastry blades or whatever. And I use that to pull my clay up off of my glass surface. It saves your blades, because that way you're not using your sharp blade to get your clay up, and that way it stays sharper longer. So okay, so I've got my clay all rolled out, and I'm going to use a blade. I don't think I need the date, so I'm going to cut that off. And I will make a straight side here. And you can see I'm not really using my tile very well here, my grid. Let me cut this one off. I don't know how square this will be. I'll find out at the end. And I'll cut the bottom off. So now we've got some straight edges. So what I'll do is I will maybe cut here. And just move that over. And I will probably cut this one a little thicker, maybe because I'll make some more square type tiles. And let's see, I've got 3 and 4 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. That would make a pretty big one, but let's try it. One good thing about polymer clay, if you don't like how it turns out, just ball it up and start all over again. But this one I think I will cut down to smaller sizes. Now what I'll do with this one, I'll probably cut it in half, and then one of them I'll cut in half again. And I'll do something similar with this one. This is with 3 lines. I will, let's see, let me use my grid here. I will cut this off at 1.5 inches. And this one is 2 inches, but I think I will probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. I will cut this one in half to make a little bit more square size. I'll set this one on my grid. Let me straighten up that edge a little bit. Makes it easier to cut a square block out of it. And this is a little over 1, 2, 3, 4, let's say about 1 1/8 inch. So I will cut a square 1 1/8 inch. So I'll have that one. And this, I don't like the way this is at the bottom, so I'm going to also cut this one. And I'm going to re-roll that one. And as you can see, you just kind of find something and go with it. This one is I'm not using my grid correctly. You're supposed to start on this side, and I don't ever do that. I guess that's just my backwards brain working. So this is 3 and maybe 3/8. So it's not quite 1 inch tall, so I'm going to cut one that's not quite 1 inch tall so that we have a square one. And I will cut another one that's 1/2 inch. Maybe one that's 3/4 of an inch. And I will probably leave this one the way it is. So you can see I'm accumulating quite a few of these, of the ones that are their words. I'll cut that one at 1 inch. I'll cut this one at 1.25 inches. And I'll just cut this one in half. So, okay, I did see a little bit of water that I left. I don't remember, I don't see it now. Maybe it's dried already. I don't know about where you are, but where I am, it's raining for Memorial Day. But that's okay. We need the rain as much as we need the sun, so hope everybody's enjoying their weekend. So I think what I will do with these is use some of my Perfect Pearls. I'll start with the Perfect Pearls. I also have some Pearl-Ex, but I'd prefer the Perfect Pearls. Perfect Pearls has a binder in with the powder, so that when you bake your clay, the powder actually bonds with your clay. Pearl-Ex doesn't have that. If you use Pearl-Ex and it's going to be something that's going to be touched, it's best to add some kind of a glaze or something to it. But let's see, what colors should we use? What would look good on the black? Let's start with copper. Copper is always a good color. And what I normally do is I touch it with my finger and then tap it in the cap. And then I will just softly rub in a circular motion over the top. And you can see that the powders will stick to the black top, but it doesn't go into the words. So you can see the words. It's a little bit different. Where's my tile? Sorry about that. I just baked something a little while ago on my tile, and I forgot to clean it off. Let me do that real quick. Not that it really matters, but call me anal. I just like to have a cleaner, as clean as possible anyway, tile when I start. And I'll take my extra blade that I have down here. Actually, I'll use this one because it's a little bit older. And I'll scrape across to get off any. I use Varathane. I think I used Varathane on the last item. Or sometimes you use Sculpey Glaze or whatever. But it'll leave a little ridge on your tile. So if you can scrape that off. Doesn't have to be perfect, but that'll make it fairly smooth. So I'm going to put this on my tile because that one is ready. You notice I don't do the sides of the tile. And I don't do that because I never know what I'm going to be using, and I don't like to mix the colors on the sides of the tiles. So let me do another copper because that turned out really pretty. So anyway, I don't like using different colors on the side, so let me do this one. That's a pretty one. And you can see that one turned out really nice. I'll put that on here. Let me do a big one. How about this one? There are some people that don't like to put their fingers in their Pearl-Ex powders. They say it I can't think of the word now. Not makes it toxic, but it contaminates. That's what it is. That it contaminates the Pearl-Ex, but I've had this Pearl-Ex for years, and this is the way I've used it, and I've never had a problem. So I'm not real worried about that. Let me do a couple more copper because I really like that copper. Let me try this one. And see that one, the words went in a little bit, went into the words a little bit, but that's okay. Most of it's fine. Alright, I think I'll change to a different color. Okay. And you never, you do a variety of colors because you never know what you're going to be using. Let me try, This is number 2. I have a book here. Don't think I've shown you this. I made a little book. I can't zoom out any further. But what I did was I took Perfect Pearls. I took some white and some black clay. I cut them into squares, and then I cut them diagonally. And then I put 1/2 white and 1/2 black square, put them together, and then I rubbed them with the Pearlex. And then I baked them. And what this gives you is what they look like on black and white clay, because some of them look different, especially when you get over into the Pearlex powders where you have your duo colors. But like this is kiwi. It looks entirely different on black than it does on the white. So it really helps to have this little book. When I'm looking for a particular look, I always bring my book out. There's my Pearlex. See, here's the duo red blue. It shows, let me get that so that it doesn't, there. It's the pinkish purplish color on the white, but it's blue on the black. This is interference violet. On the white, it doesn't show up well, but it's a very light purple there. It's a dark purple on the black. So, you know, it's nice to have this little book. But it also, I have numbers, and that was number 2, so it's my blue patina. I've got a 2 on here, but I intend one day to put the name of it, because on some of these Perfect Pearls, they don't put the names. Let me have some copper on that one, so that might add a little bit of extra. But this is the blue patina. And let's see what that looks like. Oh, that's pretty. So that'll be that one. Of course, I'll do a couple more of those too, because I'm a blue person, and anything that looks like ocean. Matter of fact, that's where I'm going tomorrow. My daughter and I are going to stay in my cousin's camper on Topsail Island, North Carolina. And it's a beautiful beach. If you've never been there, I probably shouldn't let people know. It's not real commercial. It's not real busy. It's mostly beach houses with a few little restaurants and a few little gift shops scattered around. But it's a wonderful place to go if you don't need lots of activity, which I don't. This is absolutely going to be a relaxing couple of days. I like that blue patina. I probably ought to spend some of my video time putting the names on my Perfect Pearls bottles. Can't reach that one too well. There we go. So there's blue. Let me go with a couple other colors. This is, I think it's called Mandarin. It's orange, and I'm not a big orange person, but every once in a while when you need a pop of color, that orange works really nice. So let's see how that does. Okay, it's not a bright orange, and I should know that if I looked in my book. But of course I closed it, and right now I don't really care. I'm just playing and experimenting. But that's a nice orange. It's sort of a golden orange. So let me do this one. Can't reach that one very well. So let me move it. Got some powder on my glass. There we go. But that over there and put this one. I don't know how it gets stuck so quickly. I've been doing 3 of everything. Well, actually, I did 4 of everything else. So let me do 4. Let me do the long one. It's funny, I took 3 years of high school French, and I couldn't tell you what any of this letter says. But that's okay. That's not what it's for. We're not supposed to read it, are we? I think that's all I'm going to do of the orange. So I've got copper, orange, blue. Let's go with a green. This is called Forever Green. And it is green. Sort of an emerald green. It's really pretty. I don't know how well it shows up on the video, but in sitting here looking at it, it's gorgeous. And I'm not a big green person, but that's pretty. So let me do a couple more. I'll do that one and this one. But always, you can make all different colors and just, I don't know how you sort your tiles, if you even make tiles, but if you make tiles and you sort them. I've got one box of, I use the little 4x6 photo boxes like this. I must have 50, 60 of them, and I use them all the time. But I put, like I have some beach themed, ocean themed tiles. I'll put those in one. And then the ones I made on the copper clay on my Proverbs 31 box, I'll put those in a box. So that way, oops. But that way I'll keep them separate by the color of tile, the color of clay. Some people just make all different colors and put them all together, and that's fine. That's no problem at all. So I didn't do anything. I do have the orange, but I don't have anything silver, and Perfect Pearls does have a pewter. That's what this one is. So let me see what the pewter looks like on here. I've got some other powders that I'll use on other things. But this one is called pewter. And that's about what it is. It's pewter. It's not silver. It's kind of pretty. Depending on how you look at it, from my angle, it's not very bright at all, but when I just leaned over to look at it, it looked very bright. So that's pewter. So that's kind of it for my love letter stamp. So let me put my Perfect Pearls away. And it looks like I may have left my blade in there. I did. If any of you polymer artists find a way to stay organized and know where everything is, please let me know. But anyway, those are the ones I've done so far, and these are using Perfect Pearls. So I'll put this down out of my way and bring out my larger piece of clay and see what I want to do with this one. Now these, I do use the pasta machine to roll out my clay. I roll it to a number 1, which is the thickest setting on my machine. I'm going to roll this one again because it looks like something messed up the back of one side, so I'm just going to roll it so that the top, I know that the top is smooth. And let's use another stamp. Actually, what I'd like to do, I want to do some letters. I got these little wonky letters, and I'd like to be able to personalize some of the boxes that I make. And one way of doing that is by putting the person's name. And if I have the letters already made, it would sure save me a lot of time. So let me pull out these. This is my A. I'll probably make, A is a pretty common letter. I guess my vowels, I'll make quite a few. So let me just press in some A's. And I probably ought to do the same thing with the E's. I could take them out of this box and they'd be easier to get. But let me do some E's. And you notice I don't put anything on these stamps to keep them from sticking, mainly because being Kato clay, again, it's a firm clay. It's not a sticky clay. So most of your stamps won't stick. So let's do a couple of eyes. I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eyes. A-E-I-O. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that leaves the U. These are called Dot Letter Alphabet Rubber Stamps by Hero Arts, if you're interested. I don't know where I got them. More than likely either at Michael's or maybe at a Polymer Clay Express order or something. But they're cute little letters. A little whimsical as long as you're not wanting to be real formal. The little dots kind of make them whimsical. So those are my A, E, I, O, and U. And like if I did my daughter's, I would need R's. Her name is Rachel. And she looks at all the things that I make, and I never make anything for her. So maybe I'll make her a box. So let me just do a couple of R's. It's nice to have more than one in case you mess up. And I've got the A. Let me do some C's. And an H. You may not want to do letter stamps, and that's okay. You can do anything with any kind of stamp. I've got the E, and let me do an L. But I was watching some videos today. Actually, I was watching Sarah Hayes at My Serenity Crafts. She's on YouTube, and she also has a Facebook page. She's been a big inspiration for me. And I was watching her today, and that's what gave me the idea of doing letters, because she had a box that she was showing that she had the person's name on it, and or not, maybe it wasn't a person's name, it was probably a phrase or a word or something, and I thought that would be so nice. You could do believe, You can put these together. You can do live, you can do faith, you can use courage, you can use strength. And, you know, make any of these letters. But right now, I think I'm going to concentrate on just these letters. Let me put these away. And let me cut these. So, I didn't do a very good job of lining these up. So what I'll probably have to do is cut these into strips. And then trim each one individually, because I didn't do them very straight. But you know, that's okay. I'd rather do this than spend a lot of time trying to line everything up. So this one is cut apart. Let me leave the rest. And let me just work on these. So I will cut. You don't want to leave, when you're doing letters, you don't want to leave a lot of space around the letters, because you don't want your word going all the way across something. You know, if you want big words, you use big letters. But I will just do, that's one A. Can't cut this one. I know you're probably going to be bored to death watching me cut letters. Maybe I should have come up with something a little more interesting. But as I make my tiles, I'll make more videos, and hopefully you'll find something that interests you. I was never interested in polymer clay tiles until I started watching Sarah on YouTube. I forgot what I was looking up. I was looking up something, because Sarah is a mixed media artist. She doesn't just work with polymer clay. She's actually a decorative artist, and a great one at that. And it was something that I was looking for, and I did a search for whatever it was I was looking for. That was a little crooked. I'm not going to use that one. Cut it too close and it's a little crooked. But anyway, I was looking for something, and Sarah came up in the search for whatever it was I was looking for. So I looked at the rest of her videos, and I found her mosaic videos. Now, I've met Lori Micah. I think she is the most talented person one of the most talented people I've ever met. And she has a book out on how to do polymer clay mosaics. But I never really, as much as I admired her, I never really did much with her mosaics. Mainly because she uses a gothic type theme on most of hers, so they're kind of dark. And I'm a color person. And that's the first thing that attracted me to Sarah, is she was using colors. There's also another one, Patty Tolly Parrish. She also does polymer clay tiles, and she's also a mixed media person. So you get to learn a lot of things. I had never done jelly prints until I watched Patty. And I'm afraid I've gotten addicted. You get to playing with the jelly prints. I made my own jelly plate. Again, from a YouTube video. Am I a YouTube addict? I believe I am. But she is awesome. She streams on Ustream and then posts the video on YouTube when YouTube cooperates, or when Ustream cooperates. Sometimes she will record a 3-hour video and then go to play it and there's no sound. So I don't know if that's Ustream or YouTube, But she streams at least once a week. But look her up. It's Patty Tolly Parrish. And I believe that's the name of her, I think that's the name of her shop. I'm not sure. But she makes her own stencils and stamps. I haven't bought any yet. I've got one that I've got my eye on and I really want it. But I have to de-stash a little bit more and get some money in my PayPal account before I buy it. Anyway, that's what I would do with my letters. And I'm not going to bore you with these. I'm going to set these aside and I'm going to finish them up later. But just to show you what the letters look like, I will get out my Pearl X. Now remember what I said. The Pearl X does not have that same bonder in it that Perfect Pearls has. But they're pretty good and they will stick to your clay as long as you put them on before you bake. But they will rub off if they're in a place where they get a lot of touching. So I probably ought to separate these a little bit because that was the problem with the last ones. They were too close and I couldn't get to them. So I'll just spread them out. Now like I say, these are Pearl X. And this one is Super Russet, which is a gorgeous color. And you can see I store mine upside down, so this has come up to the bottom, but that's okay. Just don't sneeze. But there's the russet. Isn't that gorgeous? I think I only have A's and E's. Let me do an A and an E. Oh, that's so pretty. I'll do 2 A's. Well, I think I touched that one a little too hard. I don't think I can get that out with a baby wipe. Let me see. No, it's stuck on there. So I don't think I'm going to keep that A. But it's not going to hurt this at all to blend it in with my black. That's okay. Let's see, what colors have I not used? I have russet. How about copper? Did I use copper? No, I didn't use copper. Ooh, this is sparkly copper. That might be the name of it, sparkly copper. Super copper is the name of it. Be sure you wipe your hands off in between or you're going to contaminate everything you've got. I've been using a paper towel, but I think my fingers now are ready for a baby wipe. One thing about these powders is they have a way of really getting all over everything. So let's see. This is Sparkle Gold. That's a pretty color. Let's see if there's enough on the lid. Ooh, isn't that pretty? Except I covered up the A. I must not have pressed some of these as deeply as others. Let me do it a little softer. There you go. That's better. Goes in my stash. And I think what it is when I moved them, I didn't pat them down very well, so they're not flat. And that's why, there you go. They didn't do very well. And I've only got one more A. make sure it's down. There. So there's a few letters now that I've got. Like I say, I'm just playing today. I don't have an agenda. I just want to make some tiles. Let me put these on my baking tile. Put it back up here. Let me put these away. I really have a very small workspace, but one thing I like about it is everything is like right here. Well, not everything, but the things I use the most are right here. I have shelves above me where I have the things that I use the most often, and it's so nice just to reach up and use them. See, that's what I've got so far. It's pretty good. Let me use a regular stamp this time. And I'm going to, I've got these letters. I think I'm going to go ahead and blend these and make a, let me wipe off, I got some powders on my glass. I'm going to go ahead for a minute and condition this clay or reblend it, make it flat again, and put some of this scrap back that I've cut, and then I'll be right back because I know you don't want to listen to my pasta machine. Just a minute. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, but I just decided it was too boring for you to look at me making all those letters. So again, I'm going to just roll the crinkles out of my clay. And I think this time I'm going to use another Lisa Pavelka stamp. This is called Ancient Doodles. And as you can see, it's kind of already made into little squares. So this is a really neat one to use for your tiles. And I'm not going to worry with the release since, again, this is Kato clay. But I will take my roller. Now you notice I don't roll from one end to the other. If I'm rolling, I stay in the same place because otherwise you're just going to move the clay. You don't want to press so hard that you're moving the clay, and it will give you a double image. But this just gives me an even. I might press it a little bit just to make sure it's got all of the prints. I'll use this a little bit to, actually I'll do it this way, just to rub it. Don't roll it like that, just rub it. Let me see how that looks. I think that looks good. This is a great stamp. When I first saw it, I had to have it, and then I haven't used it. This is the first time I've used it. But again, it's Lisa Pavelka. And I'm not using my scraper like I usually do, which saves my blades. Because when you push down like that, like you did, like I did, to get the stamp to take, you can't help but get it stuck to the table. So all I'm going to do here is follow the lines of the stamp. And this got a little wonky when I picked it up. Let me get it straightened. Hopefully that'll straighten out. But I'm going to cut there. And I may have this one over here might be a little messed up right here, somewhere where the edges weren't good is kind of over in there, but you'll notice I pick my clay up quite often, and I do that just because it's so easy for it to stick to the work table. And if you have a project you're working on, I'm trying to decide where to cut this one. I think I'm going to cut this one in here. But anyway, sorry I got distracted. But when you I don't even remember what I was saying. Call it a senior moment. Something about the stamp. Anyway, but I'm going to cut and leave the little rim around the end. Maybe I'll cut a little bit of that off and just have the raised area. Okay, but that one's got some nice little ancient doodles on it. Let me cut this long one off the side here. Another thing you can do, like this one is a long skinny one. Looks like I sliced into it. Don't remember doing that. But you just cut these little tiles apart, and then you have different tiles that you can use on your piece. But these being called ancient doodles, that's what they look like. They look like something you would see on an ancient wall or something. But let me cut this off. I'm not going to keep this one because it has that wonky edge. Let me see. This is a pretty big one, but I'm going to keep it big. Sometimes you just need big stamps. Maybe I'll cut the smaller one first. I don't know what's going on in the other room. I think Ellen is on, and they are really having a good time today. Let's see. I don't know which stamp that's a part of, but I think I'm going to leave it on that one. And you just straighten this one up a little bit. Okay. And some of these, what you can do, if you don't have perfect pearls or you don't have the colors that you like, you can bake these just the way they are and then come back with rubs like Inca Gold or any of the rubs that are out, and do it the same way, except you'll be using it on baked clay. So there we go. That's this stamp all cut up. I messed this one up, so all I'm going to do is just cut off the end. And I'll cut the end off that one. Now it looks like it was meant to be that way. I love polymer clay. It's so forgiving. But let's see, what will I do with these? These I may bake the way they are and use some Inca gold on them. So those I'm just going to put on my tile. And I'm sorry if this is boring for you. Maybe it's because you don't make tiles. Hopefully you're getting something out of this. I'd like to just show you different things, different ways you can make tiles. And today is pretty much just going to be a texture tile group. Okay. So another way you can make tiles, if you have the Sculpey, I guess they're Sculpey. Let me roll this. Oops. I really don't want to roll it through the pasta machine again, but I may have to. Hold on a minute while I run this through the pasta machine. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. You just never know how you're going to do. And with this being Kato clay, you can't just run it through once like you can with the others. And I have a motor on my machine, so I'm waiting. I'm really hoping to get the new LC machine when it comes out, because it looks awesome. But let me cut a piece off of this. Let me just cut this. I want to show you my favorite new toy. I don't know how many of you have gotten these, I guess they're called core rollers. This one is a small one, and I think it's called stained glass or crackled glass. It's a core tool, number 18, but I can't read what else it says. But anyway, you just take this, when you roll it across your clay, it makes a design, and this is my new favorite. You just roll it on the clay and just roll it with a little bit of pressure, and it leaves an impression on the clay. And I know, being black clay, you're not going to be able to see it, but one of the things I like to put on here, well, let me cut this into a few pieces and do a few different colors. And I'll cut like right there. And I'll cut that right there. Let me cut this side so it's be straight, and I can just cut tiles out of it. But I want you to see, before I cut, what this texture does. And what I'm going to use is a Mona Lisa Platinum Leafing Powder. They don't have many colors of this, and I discovered the Platinum probably from Patty Tolly Parrish, or it could have been from Sarah, or it could have been from both. But I found it at AC Moore. It was maybe $4 or $5. But I want you to look at this texture on here. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. I'm pushing too hard. But look at that. Doesn't it look like stained glass? Like the leading for stained glass? I just think it's beautiful. And you can use colors. You don't have to use the platinum silver. You can use colors. Matter of fact, I'll do some in colors. But isn't that pretty? And even where I've touched down, like here and here, where I touched down a little bit too much, and it got in there, it's okay. It doesn't look bad. Because it's platinum. Platinum is always good. But I will cut this. I think I'll cut one long one. You need to make tiles in all shapes and sizes, because you never know where you're going to need a tile. But I make skinny ones, and I make that size. Make them a little wider. I'll just cut this one into squares. Let me cut there and here. But these are beautiful when you've got other tiles. I'll do other videos on other tiles that I make. Today I'm just in the powder mood. But I also make tiles with appliques on them. I make tiles with buttons. I make tiles with charms. I use stickles. I love stickles. That's something Sarah introduced me to, was stickles. I love my stickles. But I'm going to put the platinum away. And I think I'm going to go back to the Pearl X. Not Pearl X, Perfect Pearls. And use that blue patina. Because I really liked that. Let's see. Cut off the areas that the roller didn't roll on. I think it got the rest. Make sure it's patted down on your board. And just very lightly. Oh, I just love that blue. I'm going to leave these kind of big because I just love that blue. Blue. I don't know what I was thinking when I said that, but it just sounded funny to me when I said it. But anyway, that's how you use the little core roller. And I want to use some of that kiwi. That's something I don't use very often either. And since this is just kind of a play day, sounds good to me. How about you? Now this is one of those strange colors. Okay, so it's looking green on this today. At least to me it's looking green. Which is probably what it's supposed to be, since kiwis are green. But that's not what it looks like in the jar. And it's not what it looks like on white clay. So, let me wipe that off my fingers. Cut that into a small one. And I think I'll cut this one into squares because I'm running out of room on my tile. I could always rearrange, but I should have thought ahead, knowing that I would always make more than I think I am. There. I remember what I was talking about before. Talking about these Sculpey rollers. They're like this. And they come with these little rollers. And I've got maybe 6 of them, 7 of them. 6. But they have a leaf one. It's got little leaves that you can do. But I like... I'll try this one. I don't think I've used this one. But again, it's one of these things that you just have to try. And I'm going to put this up against it just so I'll have some kind of guide. But you just press, and it makes the design. I don't know if you can see it or not. See how it makes the design? And it's little things that you can cut apart and make individual tiles, or you can cut the whole thing and make one long strip. So there's always things you can do. Again, I'm not going to keep you. I know it's a holiday. You probably have other things to do besides watch me. I'm just going to finish up this piece of clay that I've got. The reason I'm laying this on it is so I roll the roll straight. This one's going to be squares. I just love playing with these stamps. What else have I got? Because I got a new set. I think that's the one I just used. This one looks like little swirls and curlicues. You have like a herringbone, all different kinds. But you can take these and just run them across your clay. Then cover them with powders or whatever you like. This has a seam in it here. I'm going to cut that off because that's where the seam is where you roll. But I'm just going to cut this off. I'm sure y'all are tired of hearing me talk and pause by now. It's hard. I'm still getting used to talking while I'm working. Usually this is my quiet time. But that's all there is to it. You just cut these off. This one has, since it has little squares, you can cut individual squares. And you can cut an individual square and it still has the little design. You can do 2 squares. If you're coordinated and you can roll 2 rows at the same time, or not at the same time, but next to each other and be consistent, then you could always do that. I'll cut one that's 3 tiles long, and that leaves one that's 2. But again, I will put powders on these, and I think that's going to be it for today. I hope everyone had a wonderful Memorial Day and that you took the time to remember those that have given their lives so that we can have things like this and days where we can craft and just relax. So everybody, I will be gone for a while. Hopefully I will be back. I'll have something ready for you when I get back. And have a great day. Bye.